Going up, need no decline. Money line, I'ma run it every time.
Hey everyone, it's Clipeuss here. I'm going to bring you my first analytical video. Good news is I've made a career off of analyzing stuff and making decisions. I'm going to bring that to you today. If you're like me, you don't necessarily like to use the same gun that everyone else is using. But guess what Warzone is right now? Or was before the update. If you weren't using a Grau and an MP5, you were pretty much getting shredded by everyone else. I'm going to bring you 5 potential new metas after the Season 4 mid-season update, patch 1.23. In this patch, it is said that both the MP5 and the Grau are getting nerfed. So what better time than right now for me to go ahead and bring you guys 5 potentially new setups that could get you ahead of the game before others figure it out. Let's go take a look here. All right, so we're going to start at number 5, okay? And this particular class is subject to change, as I have not unlocked or even attempted to unlock the new sniper rifle that is coming out or has come out. But from my understanding, it is a pretty OP or overpowered sniper rifle that could take the place of the AX50 and HGR very, very quickly as people begin to unlock it and begin to unlock attachments with it. I'd be more than happy to do a video on that as well. Just go ahead and leave a comment section or leave a like and comment down below that if you want me to do a video on that. So let's go ahead and dive in here. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you number 5, which is sniper rifle MP7. If anybody played Warzone from the jump, this was the original go-to first meta. You ran a sniper rifle, whether it's the AX50 or the HGR, and you ran the MP7 with a little bit of range attachments on it. Because the MP7 is kind of laser and it does well in those mid-range fights. Obviously, as other guns became more popular and people kept trying out other guns, the meta shifted away from this, but I could see a strong resurgence of sniper rifles in the MP7 coming back. The MP7 is a perfect gun to pair along with the sniper rifle. Obviously, your perks and your lethal and your tactical are all going to be up to you guys, but I can tell you this, they're all pretty much going to be the same for me. Generally, unless I'm running a sniper class, I am running a double time, overkill, amped, and then my second loadout I generally get a class with double time, ghost, and amped. About the only thing that really changes would be ghost. But let's go ahead and take a look at what I'm running here. So I chose the AX50. The reason I chose the AX50 is because it has a bit more of a skill curve to it. But whenever you figure that out, the extra ADS speed that you get from using the AX50 allows you to win a lot more of those fights. And whenever you're getting beamed from 300 meters out by someone with a Grau, you need to be able to scope in quick, pop your shot, and move. The old stick and move. So let's take a look at what I'm using on this here. I'm using the monolithic suppressor, the 32-inch factory barrel, the tac laser for the extra ADS. I got a variable zoom scope, and the SynGuard Arms Assassin stock X50. Again, guys, you can swap this out for the HGR, whatever you would prefer to do. And potentially the new gun, I believe, let's take a look at it here, the Rytec AMR. It's an anti-material rifle feature, and again, if you guys want to see a video on this, let me know, and I will get to grinding and get to unlocking and do a special video for you guys for sure. But we're going to go ahead and jump into my 4th ranked new meta. And that's going to be the CR56 AMAX and the MP5. Unfortunately, guys, this is where you're going to find out that the MP5 is pretty much here to stay. It got a damage range nerf in quotation marks, as I don't believe it had a lot of nerf, but it did get a damage range nerf. I can tell you this though, I can't remember the last time I even tried to use my MP5 over 30 meters. I mean, I know there's sometimes situations that it's the gun that's out, blah, blah, blah. But in general, I'm using my MP5 inside close quarters, inside buildings as I'm pushing people. It's not my main gun anytime I'm out in a field or anything. And so the nerf that it did take, I don't believe is going to impact it very much, and I don't think you're going to see a big change on it in terms of the meta. I believe it is probably the top SMG here to stay, and it's what you're going to see going forward, I think, in most of your matches as well. So the one that we're really going to focus on here is the CR56 AMAX. Now, it does take some grinding to get all the attachments unlocked that you need to make this a viable gun, as the monolithic suppressor is unlocked at level 66. As you guys can see, I just hit level 66 last night on this gun, but it's well worth it, obviously. This thing packs a punch, and with the attachments that I have, including the monolithic suppressor, the XRK Zodiac X440 barrel, which extends the range, the Merc foregrip to actually help with the extra recoil because it is shooting 7.62 and not just the standard 5.56 that you see in most of the other assault rifles. So it does have a bit more recoil. The Merc foregrip does help with that. And then obviously, if you've been paying attention watching any other videos like this, it's come to find out that VLK is, I think, the only or one of the only scopes that does reduce recoil, and obviously you need that. And with the range that this thing has and where it can it can reach out and touch people as long as you're hitting your shots. And there is a bit of a skill gap to it because it does have more recoil, but I can tell you this: if you learn to use the CR56 AMAX, you're gonna have a hard time getting beat by several of the other guns on this list as well. So it really just depends on where your skill level is and how hard you want to work at recoil control. This may be a gun that is more of a meta for PC players than it would be maybe controller players, as the PC players have the entire arm to aim. And I will let you guys know I am a PC player as to why I chose this gun and put it on my fourth ranking here. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to meta number 3 here. Let's go ahead and take a look at it here. Meta number 3 is going to be the Ram 7. Now, I know a lot of people are not necessarily big fans of this gun. And the reason you're not a big fan of this gun is the weird recoil pattern that comes along with it. Again, a lot like the CR56 AMAX, there is a bit of a skill level to learn how to shoot this weapon. Most of your ARs either go up and slightly to the right or up and kind of a harder right, and that's what you're used to whenever you're shooting guns. This gun, though, however, does a slight up and pretty hard to the left, which means compared to your normal minute adjustments that you're making on every other gun, this gun is doing the opposite. So it's much, much harder for people to retrain themselves and control themselves on. But if you can retrain yourself to control that extra recoil, this, especially in the closer ranges, this Ram 7 has the fastest time to kill of all the assault rifles. But you got to be able to hit your practice, and I highly recommend that you go into a custom game and you put on the attachments that you think are going to be best for you. You learn the recoil pattern, and then you train yourself over and over and over and over and over again to make sure that you have that recoil pattern down and you can keep your shots in a tiny little dot, because that's what you want. You want to be able to focus that head and torso on that tiny little dot, especially whenever they're 60, 70, 80 meters out and we're trying to hit those shots. Again, guys, I'm not really going to talk a lot about the secondary because the secondary has not really changed in terms of meta. It's going to be the MP5. You know, monolithic integral suppressor, the Merc foregrip, 45 round 9mm mag, short stock, and I like to go ahead and put on the hipfire laser to help with my hipfire because I very rarely ADS with the MP5 whenever I'm playing. We're going to go ahead and jump on to number 2. We're going to get into the top 2 here, and I think these are the ones that you're waiting for here. Okay, and then I have a bit of a disclaimer at the end here, but we'll talk about that whenever we get there. So number 2 is going to be my personal favorite here, the Kilo 141. Go ahead and jump in and take a look at it here. Obviously, you're using the monolithic suppressor. You're using the SynGuard Arms 19.8 Prowler barrel, the VOK 3.0 optic, the Commando foregrip, and the 60 round mag. Again, guys, this one I believe is very comparable to the Grau in terms of the recoil that you experience with it. Now, it does have a slight left recoil, much like the Ram does that I talked about before. But I can tell you this, it's not nearly as strong, and it's much easier to control. And I will be 100% honest with you, if you're hitting your shots, this thing is a laser beam. I mean, it is a laser beam, and you can put down an entire squad very, very quickly with it, especially if you're hitting your headshots. I've had some of my best games with the Kilo, and it's personally one of my favorite ones to use. As I can tell you, it has done probably the most work for me, and it's probably got one of the coolest skins that I've ever seen in the game. This one right here. I'm not sure which one it is, to be honest with you, but as soon as I saw this, I was like, I gotta get this. It's one of my favorite skins, and it looks good as you're running around the map with it. Other people have done statistics videos on ranges and time to kill, and this one is pretty right in there with the Grau at a lot of stages, and I think you're gonna like this one if you guys get a chance to really focus up and use it. And I think a lot of people use this for multiplayer, so you probably have a lot of the attachments unlocked. I always recommend getting the attachments on the weapon first, going into a custom game, figuring out the recoil pattern, especially, you know, several different distances, learning how to focus that in, training your hands, training your eyes on how to control the recoil pattern for any gun. It doesn't matter whether it's the Kilo or the Grau or whatever it is. Controlling and learning that recoil pattern is going to make you so much better whenever it's time to get into those gunfights. And now, I think it's time to show you guys what I believe is going to be the #1 meta. And it's probably not going to be a shock to most people, but it is going to be the M4. The M4 never necessarily went away from being the meta. It was always one of the top tier guns, and depending on playstyle, you very well could have been using the M4 over, you know, the Grau, depending on how you like to play. But I can tell you this. I think this is going to be what you run into a significant amount of times here. So I'm going to go ahead and walk you through what I use on this. I know there's some conflict on whether people should use the Corvus Custom Marksman barrel or the M16 Grenadier barrel. I believe it's kind of preference, to be honest with you. Both are fantastic. I like to have a little bit more mobility whenever it comes, and I don't necessarily, with the VOK optic on this, see much difference in the recoil. But if you're not an optic person, I do recommend the Grenadier barrel, as the recoil seems to be just slightly better. Not a whole lot, but slightly better. You have room to add another attachment, whether it be stock or grip or whatever it would be, instead of the VOK optic as well. But obviously I'm running the monolithic suppressor. You pretty much got to in Warzone if you're playing Warzone. I'm running the Corvus Custom Marksman with the Commando foregrip, the 60 round mags. Again, guys, whenever it comes down to the ammunition type, 60 round versus 50 round, it really kind of depends on which game mode you're going into. If it's singles, duos, trios, I prefer 50 round mag. Obviously, if it's quads, I definitely want that 60 round mag to put down a whole squad, or have that little bit of extra ammunition to continue battling as maybe I'm trying to cover a teammate or something as they go down. There you guys have it. There's my top 5 new potential meta loadouts. Now, I will say this. I'm making this video day of the patch. And I am a Twitch streamer, and I watch a lot of other Twitch streamers. And from what I've been able to see here is that the Grau and the MP5 don't appear to be much different than what they were. Maybe the Grau takes an extra 1 or 2 shots to put someone down at a little bit of a longer range. But I really don't see a lot of issues whenever, or see a lot of difference, I should say, whenever it comes to the Grau. I think with that being said, you're still going to see the Grau and MP5 setup. It's going to be there. And it's whether or not, you want to use that. If you have come to love the Grau and it's your gun, it's still going to be there, quite usable for you. I don't think it'll have quite the same range on it. I don't think you'll be able to touch people out and put people down 300 meters out unless you're fantastic at your shots. I mean, it's going to take a bit more skill to do that. And I think we're just going to be able to see a lot more people running around with different guns, which I prefer. I really don't like getting into the match and having everyone using the exact same setup all the way throughout. I like to use other guns, and if you guys are like me, hopefully these 5 potential new metas that I've given you guys give you guys some groundwork to use. I hope everyone enjoyed that video. I had a lot of fun making it. Like I said, this is day of. I kind of threw this together very quickly so that I could get this out to you guys, and you guys could start grinding on whatever weapons you wanted to grind on. I do want to let you guys know, I am a Twitch streamer. I think I said that before, but my name is Clipeuss on Twitch. You can find me at twitch.tv/Clipeuss. I would love for you guys to come in and hang out with me. I love to interact with my chat. I want you guys to come in and ask me questions. I'll try and answer what I can, especially if it's about a loadout or class or anything regarding Warzone. I play a lot of Warzone. I do a little bit of multiplayer. Mainly that's to grind my guns, or if I'm waiting for someone to get on to play with. But generally I do a lot of Warzone. And I can tell you, you're going to get a lot of laughs whenever you come and hang out with us. My friends are hilarious. I think you'll find it too. So come in, see us. Love to see you guys. Love to interact with you guys. Let's keep making videos like this. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you think is going to be the new meta. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys. Get in here.
Going up, need no decline.